Two clubs have an opportunity to save their atrocious seasons domestically. One club has a chance to win a Europa League final in their home stadium, and a final club can continue making unprecedented history. This is the Europa League semifinals. Yes, guys, welcome back. Not top 6, Europa League semifinal predictions, and boy, oh boy, am I excited for this one. Only 4 clubs remain at the start of the Europa League, and at the start of the season, we may have expected maybe 2 or maybe even 3 of these clubs to be here, but the 4th one, for sure, definitely not. It is Tottenham from the Premier League versus the Norwegian side in Bodø, Glimt. Bodø, Glimt in the last 4. I absolutely love this. With the other semi-final being Manchester United, who have also defied all the odds by getting this far against Athletic Club Bilbao, a very good side from Spain. We will get to Athletic Club Bilbao, we will get to Manchester United, but I think I want to start with Tottenham versus Bodø, Glimt. Unsure if you noticed this, you probably did, but the Europa League semifinals are following the same theme as the Champions League semifinals. The Champions League semifinals, 4 clubs also remain, but the first seed through the league phase has been eliminated. It was Liverpool. They're gone, and they've been gone for a while. And in the Europa League, the same thing applies. The first seed, who was Lazio through the league phase, they're also not here anymore. They've been eliminated in the quarterfinals. The 4 clubs that do remain, it is Athletic Club Bilbao, who finished 2nd through the league phase, Manchester United in 3rd through the league phase, Tottenham in 4th, and Bodø Glimt actually finished outside of the top 8. They finished in 9th. If we take a close look at the current Premier League table, and I'm recording this with 33 matches played in the Premier League, so maybe when you're watching this, something has changed, but it is very weird seeing Tottenham in 16th. They're usually in the top half. They're always in the conversation for some sort of European football. Hate them or love them, Tottenham is a pretty big deal. It's a pretty big club, but my oh my, has this season been a wake-up call for Spurs, guys. They've lost matches to Everton, to Leicester City, to Ipswich Town, to Fulham, to Crystal Palace, to Brighton. You name the club that they've played, and they've probably lost to them this season. Their injury crisis throughout the course of the season obviously didn't help their situation. I believe at one point they had like 8 or 9 first-team players out at the same time. It even went as far as Big Ange having shouting matches with fans in the stands after several disappointing results. Overall, it just hasn't been good enough from Tottenham in the Premier League, and if it wasn't for how historically terrible Ipswich Town, Leicester City, and Southampton have been this season, Tottenham would seriously be in danger of relegation. And you'd probably think that would carry over into the Europa League as well, but surprisingly, that hasn't been the case at all. They fought through the diversity and the scrutiny and got themselves to the semifinals. A very respectable Europa League campaign, going 5-2-1 and scoring 17 times in 8 matches. They automatically qualified for the round of 16 and faced a very tricky AZ Alkmaar side in that round of 16, where they fought very hard at home in that second leg to get to the quarterfinals. Many thought that the quarterfinals would be the end for Tottenham, once again basing their opinion on their performance in the Premier League, and especially after that first leg only drawing 1-1 against Eintracht Frankfurt. They would have to win away in Germany. The second leg was close, and at times it did look like Eintracht Frankfurt will just have the edge, but once again Tottenham stood their ground. They got a penalty, they converted the penalty, they progressed 2-1 on aggregate, and now they find only 3 matches away from lifting a Europa League trophy, which would ultimately not only save their season but probably Big Ange's job as well. There is a lot on the line here for Tottenham, because if they do not win the Europa League, they are not playing European football next season. The Carabao Cup has been won by Newcastle already. The FA Cup door is closed as well because they're out, so Europa League is their last hope, because they're definitely not getting a European spot via the Premier League. That is for sure. So yeah, there is a lot of pressure on Tottenham to win this competition. A lot of pressure on Ange Postecoglou as well. The one player on Spurs I've always admired and kind of feel bad for is Heung-min Son, man. He's been at Spurs since I believe like 2015. He's Tottenham through and through. Him and Harry Kane had that wonderful partnership for a very long time. Harry Kane went and chose the greener pastures, though. He went to Bayern Munich, and although he is out of the Champions League, he might win a trophy. He might win the Bundesliga. While Son has just been kind of stuck at Tottenham. You know, his former club in Bayer Leverkusen, they won the Bundesliga. His other former club in Hamburg, it looks like they're going to get promoted back up to the Bundesliga this year. And Tottenham has been kind of just stuck in this obscurity. They come close to winning trophies, but they don't actually win it. The pressure is building, and like I said, all all the pressure in the semifinals is on Tottenham because they gotta face Bodø Glimt. There's no pressure on Bodø Glimt. They weren't expected to be here in the first place. Bodø Glimt is an absolutely marvelous Norwegian fairy tale story. The municipality of Bodø only has 53,000 people. Currently, there's still snow on the ground there. They don't even have a real grass field because of the conditions. The Europa League journey for Bodø this season was already deemed a success after they got to the round of 16. But the Norwegian snow truck of Bodø just kept on plowing all the clubs out of the way. In the round of 16, it was Olympiacos, and of course, they had to use their secret weapon, their home field, to their full advantage. It was very cold. Olympiacos wasn't used to playing in those types of conditions, and Bodø Glimt hammered them 3-0 in the first leg. So all they had to do in the second leg is survive back in Greece, which they did, progressing to the last stage, the quarterfinals, which was once again already had become a major accomplishment. Even if Bodø Glimt lost in the quarterfinals of the Europa League, people would still talk about this run for years to come. But Bodø Glimt, a little fish in Snow Village, they're smarter than people think. They know that clubs don't like coming to play in Norway. They know they gotta take advantage of when they play at home. And you know what? A few hours before leg 1 of the quarterfinals in the Europa League against Lazio, there was a snowstorm. Lazio's traveling to Norway. They look at the field. It's full of snow. They step onto the field. It's ice cold. Once again, just not used to the conditions, man. And Bodø Glimt won the first leg, just like they did against Olympiacos, 2-0. The same story applied. All they had to do was travel to Italy and survive. And again, they did. But this time, it definitely was a little bit more dramatic. Lazio was this close to progressing. They were minutes away. Lazio tied it up on aggregate with the last kick of the game, basically in regular time, to send it to extra time. And in extra time, they took the lead. Lazio was up 3-0 and 3-2 on aggregate. All they got to do is survive the extra time, and they're in the semifinals of the Europa League. But Bodø Glimt had other ideas. Bodø Glimt responds in extra time. They make it 3-1 and make it 3-3 on aggregate. They send it to extra time, and Nikita Heikin, the goalkeeper for Bodø Glimt, saves 2 penalties. So there you go. Lazio is out. Bodø Glimt is in the last 4. So how is this matchup gonna go? This is a massive test for Bodø Glimt, honestly. But like I said before, I think all the pressure is on Tottenham. Despite Tottenham's struggles this season, I think they're still better than Lazio. I think they're better than Olympiacos. They're better than FC Twente. They're better than every team that Bodø Glimt has gotten passed by. There's always that uncertainty about Tottenham, though, specifically because of their Premier League performances. You have to take that into account, right? Or do you not? Every single matchup when you get this deep in any competition is extremely tough to pick. But if I have to go with my gut, and many will probably not be happy about this, but I am taking Bodø Glimt to advance. They're going to upset Tottenham. They're going to keep it close in leg 1 when they're playing at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. They're going to take it back home to Norway, and they're going to win it there. Am I crazy or what? I want this Bodø Glimt run to continue so bad, man. This has been just a pleasure to watch. Now, in the other semi-final, we actually have a very similar story, and it's Manchester United. Very similar to Tottenham. They're having the same type of season. They're struggling in the Premier League. This entire campaign has been a major disappointment. Just like Spurs, it feels like Manchester United have also lost to basically every single team in the Prem. They've lost to Wolves, they've lost to Palace, they've lost to Newcastle, to Brighton, they lost to Tottenham. Rasmus Højlund has been a revelation of disappointment this season for Manchester United, just overall even. One of the lowest ratings in the Prem, 6.2. I don't know if he needs a change of scenery or something, or maybe he was just overhyped from the beginning. But besides the point, Manchester United, although they have struggled just like Spurs in the Premier League, and just like Spurs, they were actually very good in the Europa League. They were the only undefeated club through the league phase, finishing 5 wins and 3 draws comfortably in that top 8. In the round of 16, they were drawn against Real Sociedad from La Liga, and everyone had their doubts, honestly, including me. I picked them to get eliminated, but Manchester United actually prevailed, and I would say quite comfortably. They went to Spain in leg 1, they got a 1-1 draw, came back home to Old Trafford, 4-1, they advanced. It seems like drama is always following Manchester United no matter what's happening with them or what competition they're participating in, and that was the exact case in the quarterfinals against Lyon. It all started out with Andre Onana calling out Lyon, stating that Manchester United is by far the better club, with then the current Lyon player and former Man United player Nemanja Matic responding to Onana, stating, "Bro, you cannot make any kind of comments because you are one of the worst Manchester United goalkeepers in history." Which we all know may be a controversial statement, but based on how Onana has performed for Manchester United, would you say that is incorrect? He's conceded some extremely questionable goals over his career at Man United. And of course, in leg 1 against Lyon in the quarterfinals in France, Onana's comments, they bit him in the butt, man. 4.8 match rating. It was a 2-2 draw, with Onana conceding some very poor goals and not being very good. But Manchester United escaped France with a draw, and all they had to do is come back home now. With the home crowd, all they have to do is win. Win at home against Lyon, and you're in the last four of the Europa League. It's very simple. Now, that second leg at Old Trafford was probably one of the best football matches I've ever watched. I can only guess what every single Man United fan went through emotionally in the second leg. It's 2-2 on aggregate. Manchester United score 2. Everyone is happy. Man United is up 4-2 on aggregate. All of a sudden, Lyon scores 2. It's 4-4 on aggregate. All the Manchester United fans are losing their minds. Aw, shit, here we go again. Then Tolisso for Lyon takes a second yellow and he's sent off. But Lyon scored twice on Manchester United, man. With 10 men. And now the emotions are just like this for every Man United fan. You went from being happy to being sad to being absolutely depressed and like suicidal. But all the worry is lifted and all the nooses are put away because somehow Manchester United scored 3 in the last 6 minutes of extra time and win 7-6 on aggregate. I'm telling you, it was the best match I've ever watched, probably. So heading into the semi-final of the Europa League against Athletic Club Bilbao, Manchester United has actually yet to lose a single match in the Europa League this season. I know that sounds unbelievable, but it's true. They went undefeated through the Europa League phase campaign, 5 wins and 3 draws. Then they drew against Real Sociedad and beat them in the second leg. So once again, they didn't lose. And then against Olympique Lyonnais, they drew in France and beat them at home. Once again, no losses. This matchup between Athletic Club Bilbao and Manchester United, I'm telling you, it's going to be a war because both clubs have so much on the line. Just like Tottenham, Manchester United's path back to Europe for next season is only through the Europa League. While Athletic Club Bilbao has an opportunity to win their first European trophy in front of their home fans. How epic is that? The Europa League final this season is at the Athletic Club Bilbao Stadium. So if they get to the final, they will be playing in front of a packed pro Athletic Club Bilbao crowd. Imagine winning your first European trophy as a club in front of your home fans in your own stadium. That is like peak football, man. Unlike Manchester United, who is struggling in their own domestic league, Athletic Club Bilbao is doing the complete opposite. They're 4th currently at the time of this recording in La Liga. Can Manchester United survive the barrage of Athletic Club Bilbao in Spain in the first leg? Yes, Man United is away in the first leg. I think that's what this semi-final comes down to, guys. Man United need to get some sort of positive or decent result in that first away leg. Like either somehow pull out a win, which will be extremely difficult, maybe steal a draw, maybe only be down by 1 going back into leg 2. They don't want to put themselves into a situation where they're down by 2 or 3 going back to leg Trafford, because then I think it's over. But if they could keep it somewhat close in that leg 1, the Old Trafford atmosphere and the support behind them, it could get them through. It's kind of the same idea as the Bodø Glimt match. Keep it close away first leg, come back home and take care of business. But will Manchester United take care of business and progress against Athletic Club Bilbao? Man, I had no faith for Manchester United against Real Sociedad. I had no faith for Manchester United against Lyon, but they somehow pulled it off. And I don't want to be that guy that is wrong 3 times in a row. I'm going to give credit where it's due. I'm going to pick Manchester United to progress. And my final is Manchester United versus Bodø Glimt. I'm sorry if you're a Spurs fan or an Athletic Club Bilbao fan. I might be wrong. Maybe I will be wrong. But I got Man United versus Bodø Glimt in the Europa League final. Both clubs have earned their keep in the Europa League this season, and they both deserve to get as far as they have. So just maybe we see them in the final together, guys. Wouldn't that be a crazy final? Man United, Bodø Glimt. Thank you guys for watching. Let me know if you agree or disagree, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Make sure you hit the like button for me. I would really appreciate it. The subscribe button as well with the little noti bell so you don't miss out on any future videos on the channel. Take care of yourselves. Take care of each other. Stay happy. Stay healthy. Always keep smiling. Please don't judge me. Please don't hate me if I didn't pick your club. This is just a fun prediction video like I always say. Peace, 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 peace. I love you as always. Peace.